Did you know that your purpose was going to keep changing? I didn't know. And did you know, depending on your stage of life, it can be as simple as your age, but it can also be what's happening in your life may cause you to second guess what your purpose had been. Purpose is changing, maybe decade by decade. And a lot of times we get our purpose all entangled with what we do for a living. And listen, hey, if you're starting over, depending on where you're at in your starting over journey, if you have not been in the workforce for a while, you need to get back in the workforce because rent has to be paid, gas has to get put in the car, then you can feel, I felt a little more frantic about what's my purpose. I felt like I needed to have a reinvention of my purpose, of myself, of what am I going to do getting back into the workforce. I don't think I want to do what I was doing before. And not because it didn't have a purpose. I had really solid purpose at the time. But now I felt I had to be a little softer about it. Maybe a little more general, because when you need to earn an income and you're really hyper focused on figuring out what your purpose is so you can decide, what am I going to leap back into, the harder you work on your purpose or feeling like lack of purpose is a problem, it can actually paralyze you. And that's not a great spot to be. So it's easier to be a little softer about it. It's easier to be more general. And I have spoken about this aspect on this channel previously, which is, what if your only purpose at this very moment is to leave the world a tiny bit better than it was yesterday? What if it could just be that simple? Like, that's it. That's it. That's all it is. That's your purpose for right now. If you can make it softer and more general, the rest is going to come easier to you. I know I had been in a situation where I needed to get work. I needed to get an income going. And I started applying because I'm like, I'm not going to resurrect old business. An old businesses that I had in garden design or like writing for small businesses or marketing, copywriting for websites, that sort of thing. Because I still had some resistance to it, and I thought I just want to get a job, nice, easy, something I'll enjoy, and was applying at some places and not getting the jobs, and then really trying to go with the flow, not getting all hung up on it. Although sometimes I was a little, what the? How could I not get that job? Are you kidding me? So I would kind of console myself, like, well, maybe I'm overqualified, but am I? Hey, have you heard of Michael Singer, who is an author, a fantastic spiritual teacher? He wrote The Untethered Soul, and a book I highly, highly recommend is called The Surrender Experiment. And that's kind of what I was able to experiment in my own life, because I had a buffer and I had a bit of time, which is going with the flow of life, not getting wound up when things don't go what I think at the time is my way. And it can be hard. Sometimes it feels, not that it is hard, it feels hard to go with the flow, probably because you don't think it's going in the direction that you think it should be going. And this is where we get all mixed up, because we think we should be able to predict where our life is going. And we predict where our life is going based on what happened in the past. So if you can get out of that, like throw that whole paradigm away and go along with this idea, Michael Singer's, which is say yes, or just open your consciousness enough to see what else is out there. they're answers, and they're just outside your periphery. So if you can open your mind, let a lot go, and see what happens. And I did do this experiment in my own life, and um, all I could figure out, and I didn't want to get hung up on it, so all I could figure out was, okay, the purpose for me right now is to find work that I feel has some value or service element to it. That's all I knew, because I knew my energy was getting frantic, like I had to let it go. So opening it up, and okay, well, that's find a job that has value to it. I don't know what that job is, but something where I feel like I'm going to get up and feel like I've done something of service, something good in the world. Just that easy. Anyway, so can't find anything. Driving to meet my dearest friend for dinner. We generally meet once a week or once every couple of weeks for dinner. Driving the same way, doing the same thing, but I've got my new fresh mindset on. And I see a billboard advertising a job that they're looking for school bus drivers. And I don't know, like how many times have I driven by these billboards? Like have I must have seen, I don't know, did I see it? Didn't I see it? Didn't see it until that day, that evening. And then I thought, well, that's interesting. I have never ever considered or thought of something like that. And because I'd been going along with Michael Singer's idea of going with the flow of the universe, following the threads and the breadcrumbs and saying yes instead of immediate no's, I thought, well, what's the harm? I'm going to apply. And I did apply and met some amazing people. And this year started my route, and I'm in one of those, big square fat wheelchair special need buses. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So it is 100% fulfilling my purpose at that time, which was I just want to do something that is of value to the world. I want to feel like I'm getting up and being of service. And being of service can be anything. It can be the smallest thing. And if we go back to, if you are struggling, you can't struggle your way into finding your purpose. And you can draw all the diagrams you want. If you can withdraw the need to earn an income from it, that takes the pressure off, and that gives you more fluidity to think, what is it that I want to do? And as Dr. Joe Dispenza says in his abundance courses, listen, you got to do what you got to do. If you need to make some money, you got to go make some money. If that means you're landing in retail or you're driving and delivering pizzas, I don't care. You're babysitting, you're being a cab driver, it doesn't matter. You got to do what you got to do. You got to pay that rent, you got to get the groceries, you got to do what you got to do. In the meantime, once you can relax that aspect of getting a bit of money coming in, then it can be a little more leisurely about finding your purpose. And, there's all sorts of value add questions. We can talk about this more in depth, but I did want to quickly say your purpose can be as soft and as general and as overarching as, how can I make the world a tiny bit better? How can I leave it a little bit better than it was yesterday? Or how can I be of value? How can I be of service? What is going to make my heart feel open? What could I do today that would make anything a little better? And we talk about how small each of our corner of the world is. It's the tiniest little corner. And you can do something right now that's going to make it better. You can smile at the checkout lady. You can say hello to a clerk. You can introduce yourself to a stranger just by saying the nicest little compliment. Who knows what it is? It could be the smallest thing. And when you do something good, you do something kind, outgoing, you brighten up someone else's day. You don't even understand the impact of the ripple effect that will have. because it just keeps going and going and going. Anyway, just wanted to touch briefly on purpose. We don't have to make it so hard. What thoughts do you have on it? Because we all love to share our own stories and our own feelings. I would love to read what's your takeaway on this little chat about purpose, or if you've found yours, what is it? Share it, because it might help us figure out where we're going or what we want to do too. And I'll see you in the next video.